Okay, Jane, can you check if the sound is coming through on YouTube?
Hi, the sound is coming
Okay,
through.
Jane, can you
Perfect.
check if the sound is coming through on YouTube?
Yes, I think it's coming through. Hi, the sound is coming
Okay,
through.
Jane, can you
Perfect.
check if the sound is coming through on YouTube? I'd say mute it now because I think I'm hearing it twice. If you can mute your YouTube, you don't need the sound anymore because we know it's working. I'd say we're ready to go. We'll just wait now. Just gonna wait for 2 minutes for people to file in and then we'll make a start. Okay, I'll make it start now. So thank you for coming this lunchtime for this session on grading and feedback in Canvas. My name is Sarah Paston and I'm an instructional designer in the Department of Technology and Enhanced Learning here in MTU. If you have any questions during the session, you can add them on the Q&A tab, or if you're watching this on YouTube, you can add your questions there, and my colleague Jane, who's kindly on this call, will check YouTube for any questions as well. And if you're watching this back, you can email us with any questions as well, and I'll tell you our email at the end of the session. So I'll make a start on what I'm going to be covering today. So the session outline for today is it's all about grading and feedback, obviously. So I'll be covering the grade book and settings, submissions, filtering, and results. I'll be showing SpeedGrader, so how you can look at your student submissions and give them feedback, whether it's specific feedback or general feedback, and different ways that you can do that. I'll cover a little bit of original, basically how to access reports and analyze and interpret those reports. And I'll also have a look at quizzes. So if you have multiple choice quizzes or quizzes that have where you have to grade certain questions, I'll show you how to do that as well. And without further ado, I'm actually going to hop right into Canvas and show you all that stuff now. So this is the training module that we use here in MTU just for training. It's not an actual module in MTU, but it's good to show you how everything works. The first thing I'll show you is if you're a newer MTU lecturer, there might be some things that you don't know about Canvas. So the first thing I'll show you is about this navigation here on the left. So you'll see beside some of the navigation options, there's this eye with a line through it. And what that means is that thing is not available to students. So that tab is not available to students. And if I click Student View, you'll see that only the ones that didn't have the eye with the line crossed through it are shown here. So you can either rearrange these in different orders or you can hide or show different things. And I can show you how to do that. You just click Settings here and then click this Navigation tab here. And you can change the order. If there's something you don't use, like maybe you don't use syllabus or you don't have a Zoom call, Zoom meetings, and you just want to hide that from the navigation, you can drag that down into this hide from students section. And you'll see when I click save, it now is hiding more of those things, and you can check it by clicking student view again. And you'll see there's less of them because I've hidden more of those options on the left there. So now I'm going to get into the gradebook itself. So to get to the gradebook, you just click grades here on the left. And you'll see when you open the gradebook in one of your modules, it'll have the list of all your students that are on that module. So for this testing training module, we just have 4 students here for an example, but you'll probably have a lot more students in your modules. And it'll just show their names, and also it'll show all of the assignments and quizzes that you have that have grading turned on them within the gradebook as well. The first thing really to note when you are looking at the gradebook is to make sure that you've set it up for manual grading. And I'll show you what I mean by that. If you click the cog there, let me show you again. Click this cog on the top right and grade posting policy. Now, all Canvas modules in MTU by default should be set to manually posting grades. And what that means is when you add a grade to an assignment in SpeedGrader, or when a student completes a quiz or something like that, if it was set to automatically post grades, then they'd get their grade in the grade book. They'd see it immediately, and generally lecturers want to be able to post grades when they want to, maybe when they've already graded the whole class or at a certain point. So just make sure that your module is set to manually posting grades, and then you can control when you release the grades. And maybe at the end of the semester, you actually don't want to release the grades for an end of the semester assignment, and you only want them to get the grades through Web for Faculty or Banner, then you don't have to post them at all if you don't want to. While I'm on this window, I'll also show you the late policies option. So there's a couple of options here. You can select automatically applied grade for missing submissions. So if some people don't submit at all, you could give them an automatic grade just there, and you'd click apply settings. You can also automatically apply deductions to late submissions. So this can be at intervals. So if you say a student loses 10% every day after the due date on a assignment, or you could even do it after every hour if you wanted to, and you can set a lowest possible grade as well, and click apply settings there. Also show you so view options. I think you look different. A year ago it used to be over here that you'd see the view options, but they're now under this cog. So if I click view options as well, you can change the view of the gradebook. So you can change how it's arranged. So there's default order, or you can do A to Z, Z to A, due date, oldest to newest. There's a bunch of options there, points lowest to highest, however you want to arrange your gradebook. You also might have noticed, because I did this training yesterday, I turned on the notes tab just to show. I'll just turn it off and show you how to turn it on again. But if you wanted to, you can have a notes tab in your gradebook and write notes beside each student, basically. I'm just going to turn it back on again, the notes, and then you can just type in the notes. I'm just putting in good job for that one beside that student. You'll also see the status color. So this is just explaining what these colors in the gradebook mean, and you can also change what color those colors are if you want to. So blue means late, red means missing, green means resubmitted, orange means dropped, and yellow means excused, but you can change all of that if you want to. The next thing I'll show you is SpeedGrader, so I'm just going to exit out of that. So for when you're marking a regular assignment where someone has uploaded a PDF or a document or a PowerPoint file or something like that, you probably want to use SpeedGrader for that. So there's a couple of ways you can get into SpeedGrader. The first is you can hover over the assignment in the gradebook and click the options button. And then you can just click SpeedGrader here and it'll bring you into SpeedGrader. But there is another way you can get to SpeedGrader. So you could click on the assignment here, or if you were on the assignment tab, it'll also show you. Yeah, if you were on the assignments tab and clicked into the assignment, there's a SpeedGrader option up here too. So you can click into that and it'll bring you just the same to the SpeedGrader. I'll just go back to the gradebook here for later. So when you are in SpeedGrader, basically this is where you can view all of the submissions to your assignment and grade them and add feedback. And you can view each student by just clicking up here on the student name, and you'll see all of the students that are in the class. And you can also see, so there's ticks here. That means those students have already been graded. So if I just click on Lauren's one here, that means I've already graded that one. So the tick means that I've done the grading. And then the orange means they still have to be graded. There's no grade that's been put in there. I'll also show you on another one. I think this one is a good example what it looks like if a student hasn't submitted. So here we go. If a test student hasn't submitted, you'll see it's down as missing up here, but also it says the student does not have submission. So if they don't submit, that's how they appear on that. I'll go back into the other one to show you a bit more. So if I go down to test student here, you can see, so this is test student is just how I'm showing you it. But you can see that this test student submitted on the 24th of April at 3:46, but it was actually due 2 days before that, so they're marked as late. It says how late they were. But if you wanted to excuse that student and not have them marked as late, you can easily excuse them by clicking this pencil icon here, and then click excuse or none, and then it'll clear that late notice, and then they won't be marked down as late in the grade book. I'll also show you if I go into Lauren's one, you might see here, and it's just taking a second to load the document, but you can see that there's actually multiple submissions on this one. So it's important when you're looking at your student submissions that you're looking at the latest version. So you might have allowed on your assignment people to make multiple attempts. So a student might upload something before the due date and then decide, oh, actually, I have a better version, I'm going to upload again. You want to look at their most recent upload. One good thing about Canvas is if you look at the older upload, it will give you a note saying this is not the most recent submission. So you should be able to know whether you're doing that or not. Another thing to note actually on this that's come up before a couple of times with lecturers asking us questions is if your assignment asks for multiple files, students might get confused and rather than uploading 2 files in the one attempt, upload them 1 file in 2 attempts if you're allowing multiple attempts. So if you think a student is missing a file, they might not be. It could be in this previous version, if you get me. So if you have an assignment where you need multiple files, it might be worth checking if they have multiple attempts and if that file is there from the student. And next thing I'll show you is the comment box. I'm just going to move to test student here. So you can give general comments in this comment box down here. And there's a couple of features that you can use with this too. So there's this thing called the comment library. So I click this speech bubble icon here, you'll see this is the comment library. And basically you can add things to the comment library that you say often. So if you're saying the same feedback over and over again, you don't want to have to type it out every time. You can add it to this comment library. I'm just going to add great job and then add that to library. And then now I can select that and then it's added as my comment. I don't have to type it out every time. I also have turned on show suggestions when typing. So if I start to type out something like one of these, it'll suggest it to me. So let's try this is really well researched one. This is really, yeah, so it's suggested to me and then I can click on it. So that's quite handy just to save a bit of time. You can also attach files to your comments. So if you wanted to give them examples or resources, you just click file attachment, choose file and then attach a file and submit that. If you want your feedback to be a bit more personal, I'd recommend using attaching a video or a recording. So you just click that video icon, and then it'll bring up a recording of yourself. You can choose your webcam, or you could choose no video and just do an audio recording if you just wanted to give feedback over audio. Similarly, you can choose your mic there as well. I'll just choose my webcam again. So when you're ready to record your feedback, you just click start recording. Then you give your feedback, and when you're finished giving the feedback, you just click finish, and you can play it. You give your feedback, and then if you're unhappy with it, you can just start over again and do it again. And then when you are happy with it, so I'm just going to do one word to show it fully recorded and finished. So I'll click finish, and then click save media, and then that's a comment on their work. And then the final little option down here is speech recognition. So that's where you dictate the comment and then it types it out for you. So I'm just clicking the recording option here, and it should, yeah, it's coming up. What I'm saying is being typed into the screen. And when I'm done, I just click the stop button. And then now that's a comment. And obviously there's some errors with what I said, so I could just edit them and then click submit when I'm happy with them as well. Then if you want to be a bit more specific with your feedback, like on specific sections of the text, there are annotation tools here up at the top. So at the moment we just have the pointer tool on, so that's just a pointer going around the text. But you can also use point annotation. You can change the color of it if you want. So I'm just going to make that blue and scroll down. I'll just push in down here. And I'm going to say great job here. So that's the pointer option. You can also highlight text. And then you can highlight there. And again, I could change the color if I wanted to. I'm just going to say good work and enter. And then we've got free text annotation. So I have one here from yesterday, but I'm just going to put one in. So you can put free text anywhere. You can just write on the document. And I'm being very complimentary. And then the next option is strike through. So if I click on that one, I'm just going to scroll down, and it's striking through text. So if there's something where you want to say that's not relevant or that's not needed, you can say that's not relevant. Enter. There's also even a free draw annotation, so you can draw on the piece if you want to do arrows or point things out. And then finally, there's an area annotation. So that's just this one here. You can basically go over a whole paragraph and then give a general comment. Paragraph. Enter. So loads of options for specific feedback through that. So once you've given all your feedback and you're ready to actually give the student their grade, you can do so by just typing it here. So if I type in 87 and click enter, now I've added their grade. You'll also notice above the grade, it says hidden. So that means that it's not been posted to your students. So you can be confident that the student can't see that yet. So I'm just going to remove it again because I want to show you rubric as well. So if you were using a rubric for the grading, you can click view rubric. And I'm just going to put in a score for each. So let's say 14 out of 20, 30 out of 40, and 35 out of 40. And then it calculates the full out of 100 for you. So I'll click save. That was 79. Then so I know that's 79, I can add it in here. And then I've added my grade. So the next thing I'll show you, I'm going to go back into the grade book, is original. So you can see here we have one original assignment, and we just have 2 submissions on that assignment. And you'll notice there's this blue icon and a red icon. The blue icon means that there's low similarity score, and red icon means that there is a high similarity score. So Original is our plagiarism detection tool that we use in MTU. And what that's saying is that this assignment has a higher chance that it might have been plagiarized rather than this one. But we do recommend that you investigate and look into the original score before you determine whether you think it has or not. So to do that, you also go into speed grader. So I'm going into speed grader here. And as you can see, I'm just open on this one that has the 96% similarity score. And what I've done is actually taken a whole printed out a section of Wikipedia just so I knew I would get this high score. So obviously it is plagiarized heavily from Wikipedia, but this is just to show you the example of a high score. And in order to investigate it further, all I need to do is click the 96.31% thing here to see the detailed report. Then it'll take a few seconds just to load up. And then you'll see there's a few options that you have once you've opened the report. So there's overview. This is just an overview of all the blocks of text that have matching with something else. So if I click on a block, this whole big block is matching something else and it's telling me that it's from Wikipedia, which I know that it is. And it would be the same here, also from Wikipedia. Then on the findings, it's more you go through a list of findings. So if you prefer to look at it that way, it'll show the findings and matching in Wikipedia. Then sources, it'll show you the different sources that they think the document came from. So it's actually saying Wikipedia here and HandWiki. I did just take it all from Wikipedia itself. But because of the way it's formatted, it might be seeing it slightly differently. But they're right that it's from Wikipedia. And then we've got document as well, where you can kind of do a side by side and look at the different things. If you wanted to allow the student certain amount of plagiarization, what I mean is if there's something they've used that you're totally fine with them using it, you might want to exclude that from the findings. So I'll just show you how to do that. If you just click on a block, you can click exclude, and you'll notice now the similarity score has gone down to 68%. If I show you even in resources, say I decide Wikipedia is a source that I allow, that you can just untick it there and you see the similarity score has gone way down there. Now I'll just show you some of the options that are on the top here. So if you've excluded a few things, but now you've decided you want to revert the report back to the way it was when you first opened it, you can just click this icon that says reset report state. And when you do that, it'll go back up to the 96%. We'll just wait for that. Yes, so it's going back up to 96. So the way I opened it. You can click this download icon to export the analysis as a PDF. And you can click the share icon. So if you wanted to share the report with another member of staff, you could do it that way. There's also this options icon here, which just shows you how to display the different findings however you want to do it. So if you want brackets or text differences, quotes, or group sources, and then there's just some help options down here as well. So that's just it basically. I'm going to go back into SpeedGrader again. And I'm going to show you how you can message students under different criteria after they've submitted an assessment. So say you might have some students that haven't submitted to the assessment or an assignment yet, and maybe the due date is coming up very soon and you want to just remind them of it. You can just hover over this options tool again and click message students who. And so there's different options. So if you say have not yet submitted, then it'll bring up all the students that haven't submitted and they'll be shown here. You can write them a message. You could also say have not been graded. So for this one, it's Roisin Garvey is coming up that she hasn't been graded yet. So you can message them. You could message students that have scored more than a certain amount or less than a certain amount. So if I go to the less than, and then I'm going to type 80 because I think everyone had a high mark in this example. So if you had students that were all under a certain amount, maybe they all that scored under 60 and you want to just give them a example of a good assignment or just give them resources, you can do that by just messaging all students that were under a certain score. You'll see their names there. You can type in a message here, or alternatively, you can add an attachment. So if I click add attachment, you can then attach a good example of an assignment. Or similarly to the speed grader tool, you can click here, you could upload a file, or you could also just record yourself, just the same as I showed you in speed grader. So you start the recording and then record yourself and then save that, and that can be the feedback as well. Next thing I'm going to show you is quizzes. So if I go back here and I'm going to click on quizzes, and I'm just going to open quiz 2. And then go into the build view of the quiz. So if you have a quiz where all of the questions were multiple choice, then Canvas is going to correct those automatically for you. But you might have an open-ended question in your quiz. So for this quiz, we have an example. There's a couple of multiple choice questions that can be auto-corrected by Canvas. But there is one open-ended question. It's please outline the process of submitting an assignment in Canvas. So in order to because that's open-ended, people could be answering a lot of different things and they could be right. So you want to, you have to actually go in and grade that yourself. And in order to do that, you need to go to the moderate tab. And I'm going to show you by going into this one, the attempt 3. You'll see when you're going in and you're going to the attempts to correct, it'll tell you which ones need review. So it says question 2. So you can see here, please outline the process of submitting an assignment to Canvas. And I've put in just test answer and today's date. And then I can say whether they're correct or incorrect. So I'm going to say incorrect because that's not the answer to that. And then just scroll down and update. And that updates their results as it says here. And then I'm just going to go back to the moderation. Another thing actually to note when you're setting up quizzes is to make sure that it's set up so they won't see their results right after. This is outside of the whole posting grades. Quizzes have their own thing. So if I go into settings, I want to make sure restrict student result view is turned on. That means when they finish their quiz, they won't see their results or their correct and incorrect answers, as long as I also have all of these turned off. So I do recommend doing that. And then they won't see their results unless you choose to post them to them. If you want to give students extra time in accommodations, you can do that by clicking. So I have done it here from yesterday, but if I click moderation, I could give them additional time. So if there's a particular student that you want to give additional time rather than the rest of the class, you can do that from here. You could remove the time limit entirely for them, or you can not do that. You can also give them additional attempts so they can try it again. The only thing to note here is this doesn't affect if you have an until date on your quiz. So if your quiz is cut off and at an until date in the settings, you'll need to extend that to allow the students to be able to do their additional attempt or their extra time. So that's quizzes. I'm going to go back into the gradebook one final time. So if I just get out of here and click return and back into grades. There are filters here that I want to show as well. So if you wanted to filter by assignments, by quizzes, or by original assignments when you're going through the grades, you can do that. There's also by statuses, by submissions. So if it has submissions or doesn't have submissions, or if they're ungraded, you can also do it by start and end date as well. And then when you're ready with all the marks and you want to export it so you can give it to Web for Faculty, prep the marks for Web for Faculty or for Banner, you can click this export button up here, and you can click either export current gradebook view or entire gradebook. So I'm just going to click entire gradebook. It'll take a couple of seconds and then it'll open. I'm just going to show it to you now. That's my gradebook as a Excel file. So I think that's all for today. What I'm going to do is show you some of the supports that we have. So I'm going to go back into the presentation. So Canvas themselves have support. So actually, I'm going to go back into Canvas to show you that. Canvas themselves have 24/7 support. They've got a live web chat. So to get to that, I'll just go back in the training module. To get to that, you just click this help icon here. And then you can see there's web chat with Canvas support FLAC faculty. So that's what you click if you want to do the web chat. You can also submit a ticket to Canvas. So that's just here as well. Just click submit ticket to Canvas and you can write them an email basically. You can also call them at this number or you can email them at support@instructure.com. Then for local support, if you were having issues with logging into Canvas or any other MTU specific tool, generally you would email servicedesk@mtu.ie as they handle authentication. If you're just wanting to know how to do something in Canvas or are struggling with anything, you can email us at edtech@mtu.ie. And of course, if you have any questions after the session, you can email us at that email as well. We also have a department website, so it's this one. I'm just going to open it for you. We've done it up over the last year or so, and from this website you can reach a lot of our resources. So if I just click staff resources here and scroll down, we've got our help docs and articles. So I'll click on that. You'll see this is our staff help site. So there's a bunch of help articles on Zoom and Canvas. There's even a Canvas assessment section. So this kind of covers a lot of the stuff that I covered today. Also, there's a link to our YouTube channel, which you can go to, and it actually has our live session here. And you can look at our previous sessions that we've had as well on specific things. I'll go back into the presentation. One last thing to show you is that all lecturing staff are enrolled in a module in Canvas called Canvas Learn. So I'll just show you what that looks like. And I'll do it from student view as that's how you'll be looking at it as a staff member. So Canvas Learn is Canvas training for all MTU staff, and it covers pretty much everything you'd need to know in Canvas. And you'll see here, relevant to today's session, there's a feedback and grading section. So if you click into that, you can see that there's a lot of content on how to use the gradebook and how to use SpeedGrader, etc. And some of it's interactive. So you can see here, this is the gradebook and it's just interactive image. And if it's a bit too small for you to see, you can just click full screen and then see it through full screen. I'll just exit that. See it's on the next page. Yeah, so it's showing you like the late policies as well that I showed you earlier. And I think that's it. So if anyone has any questions, you can ask in the Q&A tab, or Jane will be looking at YouTube if there's any questions there. I might just wait a minute to see if anyone has any questions. Okay, so there's no questions, so I think we'll finish up. So just a reminder that you can email us at any time at edtech@mtu.ie and we'll get back to you. And thank you for coming to this session and have a great rest of your day. Thanks very much.